happy Teachers' Day. And more than anything else, as a mother, I know the role the teachers play in the life of our children, and I wish you all the very, very best. Yeah, I don't know how many of you were there in the last session. So can I get, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I just put it down in the chat as to how many of you were there in the previous session? I just want to, because I want to just check if, I have to continue from there, or I will I'll have to give you a recap of what was done. Anybody here who was there in the previous session? If I don't hear, I'll assume that none of you were there in the previous session. Okay, fine. So this was actually intended to be the second part of a two-part session, on Google Slides. So why Google Slides? I'm sure all of you would have used it in some way or the other in the course of your virtual teaching. The last one year, 1.5 years, you have explored and experimented on so many things. One of the probably common things which you would have used Google Slides would have been to create lesson plans. Yeah, you are using it in your school. That's great, ma'am. So what do you use it for in your school? How are you using Google Slides in your school? All of you can contribute, all of you can put it in your chat. So please, I want this to be something which, at the end of the session, I want you to sort of take back PPT, okay? Yeah. So basically to project live presentations. Yeah. For through Google Meet class. Yeah, Google, okay, for presentation through a Google Meet class. Yes. Yeah. So absolutely. Teaching concepts, yes. So, of course, Google Slides are wonderful. They are very easy to use. Yes, you can use them in Zoom, Meet to present. They're open source, so you don't have to have a license as in PowerPoint. There are a lot of features which are adequate and more than adequate for creating PowerPoint, for creating slide decks. So putting down some content which you can use in the classroom. So today and in the previous class, what we did cover in the last class and in today's class, what we'll be covering is one step above that. So how can you create something interactive and interesting for the students? Yes. So yes, definitely you can use PPTs and Google Slides in all your sessions to teach. But can you create something interactive? Can you create something little more than lessons? So that is what we are going to see. And since you were not there, some of you were not there in the previous class, I'm just going to do a quick demo of 3 things that I have created, some kind of activities that I've created using just Google Slides. Now, those of you who have access to PowerPoint, yes, definitely asking open-ended questions is true, but what I'm telling you is how can you use Google Slides itself to create activities, right? So if those of you who have PowerPoint, it's limitless. So I can definitely at one point, sometime in future, conduct a separate class on using PowerPoints. If you have access to it, the number of interactive activities that you can conduct for children, you can create for children is just, I would say that without any limit. But with Google Slides, even though there are a set of limitations and even the animations that are available are very, very rudimentary, you can still create some interesting things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 activities that I have created on Google Slides at various points of time for children, right? And as I was telling in the last class, you can integrate this with your Google Classroom. Let's say you want to give an assignment so that each child gets a separate copy of this assignment and they are able to do the assignment, right? So I'm going to show you 3 activities, all of them interactive, and then we can, I will show you the behind the scenes of one of the activity. Just in case there was somebody who was there last time, I don't want to repeat it. We will do a different, we will do a demonstration of a different activity using Google Slides. These are all very, very simple activities. You can customize it to your lesson plan. They will gamify your learning to a very large extent, and the children will really enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to show you 3 things. The first thing, let me share my screen. Are you all able to see my screen? Are you able to see my the Google Slide screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, great. So this is the activity which, if some of you were there last time, this is what I demonstrated last time. This is probably one of the simplest at the level 0. So what I'm asking to do with, what I'm asking the children to do here is, it's a simple categorization activity. You can do it with anything. I have just picked up elements and molecules here because that was something which I did for a lesson. Now, the same thing you can apply to history, the same thing you can apply to English, math, anything. So it is for any subject you can use this. So basically, this is a slide deck that I have created with just a single slide. This is an activity that you can give the children. You can give it even as an assignment. So you can, by integrating this with Google Classroom, you can give it to the children as an assignment. Instead of asking a question, an objective type question as to what are the elements in water or what are the elements in diamond. So you can just give a small activity like this based on it, based on your lesson plan, depending on your subject. So basically here, what the children can do is they can move, they can categorize, and put it into different categories. So here I have 2 categories, just 2 as a demonstration. But in the actual activity, I had around six different materials, and I asked them to put it into different materials. Now, this is something active that they can do. This is something you could say that very similar. Let's say you were in a live classroom, you would probably give them a chart, or you would give them, you would put some things on the board and ask them to pin it on the board. So this is exactly the same activity, but completely customized to your subject. You may get templates, but again, all the templates that you get, they will not be what you exactly want, right? So I will show you very quickly how to do this. It's a very simple activity to do with Google Slides. And as I said, this can be used for anything at any level. It is not necessarily for children. You can do it for now, with of course, with the pandemic, even grade 1 kids or even UKG kids are able to operate this amount of movement on the screen. So right from that age to 10th grade, 12th grade, you can do. Right? So it depends on what is the concept you want to teach. So it's a simple categorization activity, which I have done with Google Slides. Okay, so now I'm going to show you one more activity here. First, I would like to show you the activity and then I will show you how it is done. So for that, I would just want to stop sharing 1 minute. So this is again a very simple activity that I've created with using Google Slides and an option of Google Slides called publishing. So of course, this is a very rudimentary this thing of the heart. This is a simple labeled activity, right? I just have 4 labels. And this, if you see, Of course, you can put in whatever you want. This I've done it more as a demo, and the actual activity that I did was for like younger kids. So I just wanted to give them, instead of talking about the heart. Again, this is something that if you were face to face, you would allow them to do it. And this is actually a link. This is a URL which you can put into any. You can put into your Google Slides. You can put into your Google Forms. You can put it. You can send it as a link on WhatsApp. Right? So this is not something that they can change. This is not something they can do anything with. They cannot edit it. But it is a very interactive activity with your subject. Now, again, going back, you can do this with any subject at any level. So this I have done, what I've done here is a very simple labeling activity. So definitely everything you need, there are so many things that you want them to learn through labeling. So instead of having a label like this, you can have another image which goes deep down into it, which shows a zoomed in view of it. And then from there, you can have another image which shows a zoomed in view of it. Just imagine the possibilities are limitless. You are allowing the children to explore something with a very, very simple activity. And believe me when I tell you, to create this activity, of course, this is at the simple level. To create this activity, it would probably take me around 10 minutes. Now, if you want to make something more complicated than this, at the most, you could spend 1 hour, right? But this is something that you're going to be repeatedly using probably for many years to come. So that is something which I would say definitely has a lot of potential for you to work on. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And the third activity that I would like to show you is, okay. So this is again a path or a branched activity. I have taken the first verse, of course, from The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, which happens to be one of my favorite poems. So this again, you can extend it to any limit. So this is again more of a game activity. Here I have just kept it very fun, very light. But if you're trying to teach something, you can teach it. So you are giving the children 2 options. Option 1, option 2. Right? So let us see what happens when I click on option 1. So I get a very nice road, a beautiful path with a well-laid road. So I have 2 options here. I can continue or I can go back. I want some adventure. So let us say I click. Oh no, this is a swamp. I didn't like this. What was on the road not taken? So it goes back to the first slide. And I'll say turn right. Oops, this sounds not great. It really needs maintenance and this looks like this path is going to go nowhere. What can we do? So do they want to continue and try their luck or do they want to go back? So I'm going to continue and try my luck and see, wow, a beautiful lake, just what I wanted. So this activity is a very simple activity which I have created with Google Slides just as a demo. But using this kind of a demo, using this branched path, you can create any kind of activity. And this too can be made available to the children using a link. This link, which you can share through any means. You can share on your website, you can share on your forms, you can share on your Meet, you can share in your lesson plan, you can do it you can share it on WhatsApp, anyway. Okay, so these are some of the examples of activities that were created using just simple, plain Google Slides. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the creation of some of the things that it would help you to create this activity. As I did last time, I would request you, in fact, I would be very happy if you access your laptop, open Google Slides and create something along with me. Because definitely you can go back and access it and do it later, but there's nothing like doing it along with me and then you can share it with this class. So I would request you, all the teachers to try it out, because let me tell you, believe me, it's something extremely simple. that you would be surprised that Google Slides, the Google Slides, what you used to use to create presentations to present in the class, offers so many opportunities for creating interesting interactivities. Now, before I start, I would like to ask you all, what did you think of these interactivities? Do you think you will be able to use them in your class? Okay. Can you give an example of how you would like how you could use it in your class? Any of you? I don't know what subject teachers you are. You may be teaching different subjects, but what can you give? Can you science? Okay, give an example, ma'am. Any example, maybe from whatever lesson you were doing yesterday. I wouldn't mind if you want to unmute and talk. Also, that's fine. But just an example so that all the other teachers also feel that this is something that can be done. This is something that is useful. We want to do only something which is useful. Okay, yes, definitely label a system. Any kind of system, absolutely, yes. Feedback, okay. Digestive system, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyone else? Uses of plants, okay. Okay, great. So let us go ahead and see how to create these activities in the simplest possible way without path of food. Wow, that's very interesting. I would definitely love to do, and I think you could give it a shot. Why not? So you could all you need is some images, and you're all set, right? And we don't have an issue for images. Our dear internet will always give us what we want. Okay, so now I'm going to, of course, I have another activity here which we may not have time to go through, so I will get back to it later. Okay, match the elements. So this is the simplest activity, which I said that we did it last time. But I'll just quickly go through it just for you to understand a few things. So if you have used Google Slides, as some of you have, you will know that for any slide deck software, including PowerPoint and including Google Slides, there are two views. One is the view, there are actually three views. One is the view which you see, which is where you usually would have put most of your content, right? This is the view where you'll be putting your images, you'll be selecting a slide, you'll be adding a slide. For example, I'm going to say new slide. So I get a slide like this, I change the layout, I put some things like I can, now in Google Slides, you have a set of layouts. So this is what I want, or maybe this, okay? Then you put your text, you can add images and all that. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. What you have is something called a master slide. So some of you may have used the master slide, especially those with PowerPoint would definitely have gone into the arena of master slides because it is very intuitive and easy to use. Now in Google Slides also has a master slide, but not that intuitive. Okay, so let us go into the master slide of this. So there is an option called Edit Theme. If you see here, okay, I go into edit theme. Now, whatever you put on the master slide can be edited only from the master slide. It cannot be edited from the main slide. That is one advantage. The second advantage is I can create multiple slides with the same theme. Like for example, I have, in this case, I have water and diamond. So on one slide, I want to talk about the elements in water and diamond. In the other slide, I want to talk about the molecular size of each. Then the other slide, I want to talk about physical and chemical properties. So I have a huge comparison. Maybe water and diamond, I did it because they were very young kids. Maybe you would be doing graphite and carbon, graphite and diamond, something like that. Whatever it is, some two organic compounds, whatever it is. So what you can do is on the master slide, you can insert any image or any shape or any text. For example, I go here, insert image. Okay. I'll say search the web. Then I can look for an image. This some of you would definitely have done. Let us say some other molecule, let us say sugar. Okay, sugar. I am going to insert. What? Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to add a label to it. So I'm going to copy this. So some of you may know if you hold control and pull and drag, it gets copied. Otherwise, you can do, of course, control V. So I'm going to say this is sugar. Okay. Now, if you see, there is a small thing here. There's a small cross button. I'm going to close it and come back. So you see, I have three things here. Earlier, I had two. Now, these are not editable. However, these things which I inserted, for example, I'm going to delete this. I'll say insert text box. Carbon. This, again, as I said, some of you may have been using it a lot. You could use different color coding, whatever it is. So I want to center align it and I want to make it bold. Done. So, yeah, and like the others, I want a border for it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a border. Okay. So now I have all these elements. Now what I can do is, let us say I want each of my children, I want to give this as an assignment to each of my children, and I have asked them to segregate it correctly. Now, it is not something I want to do in a class. That's no fun. You can do that. So you can do it interactively. You can ask them, where should this go? Where should this go? If you're doing it in a virtual class, let's say you want to give it as an assignment, you can integrate this with Google Classroom, and that will ensure that each child who is enrolled in the Google Classroom will get a separate copy of this. And then they will work on it and submit it back. Then you can assess it. So isn't that such an interesting assignment to do rather than just objective type questions, right? So this kind of an activity can be used both for demonstration as well as giving an assignment, right? So this is, as I said, we are using what all did we use of the Google Slides? We used the theme, we used images, insert images, we used insert shapes and text boxes. Very simple. These are the basic features of Google Slides. We don't need anything more, right? So now I want to next go to the adventure story because here again I will go to the heart the next, because there are some features here which are used there, so it will be easier for you to understand. Now, before I go on to this, I want to ask you, do you have any questions or doubts on this?
Teachers, if you have any question, either you can share it on the chat or you can just unmute and directly ask. So please, if you have any question, please ask.
Okay. Okay, I see one question.
So there's a question, ma'am. Can we do the same thing with Microsoft PPT as well?
Yes, and in fact, you can do much more than this. So as I was telling, I can definitely do another session on PPTs. PPTs, the features are like limitless. I work a lot with PPTs, and I have created such amazing interactivities. When I say amazing, I know I'm telling it myself, but that is so easy to create. Okay, you did not understand the part about the master slide. I will definitely explain to you again. So this is something, there are two things about a master slide. So the purpose of the master slide is actually very simple. It gives you a kind of repetitive template. It is like saying that I have four different, if you go here, for example, I want to add a new slide, right? So, but I want each of my slides to, let us say, have my school logo in the on the top, right? So one way to do it is how to get it. I'll show you. I'll tell you now. So one way to do it is insert the image on every slide as and when you create. Other way is in Google Slides. This is in PowerPoint. It is a different menu option. Google Slides, you go to slide. Now, are you with me? There's a menu option called slide, and there is an option called edit theme. Okay. If you go to slide edit theme, you get this set of slides which are there. Now, I have an option to duplicate it, that is create a new one. And then what I will do is, let us say I want to insert a logo. Search the web. I'm going to say quotes. So I want every slide that I'm going to create for Teachers' Day to have this. Okay, maybe not so big, but maybe somewhere here, or maybe I can put it like this, right? So that every slide that I create will have this, or maybe like this. Okay, now if you see, I can close this. There's a cross here. I'm going to close it. And then when I come here, if you go under layouts, there is a slide option with this as a background. Now I can insert any number of slides with the same background and go on adding my own text to it. So I inserted a bigger image just to show you. But let us say here, I want to say something about Teachers' Day. So I can okay, yeah. So this thing is there on every slide. All you need to do is add your additional text. So this is the reason why you use master slides, or in this case, what is it called? Theme slides, right? Now, this, we are using it very differently to create a game. That's what we did in this slide. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to this, and I'm going to show you how to create this particular option that I made. Now, of course, this is an image. So I am assuming that everyone knows how to insert an image into a Google slide, so I'm not going to go into it. If anybody wants to know that, I request you to ask me, put it in the chat. This is, of course, a text. So I can insert here a text box, I can insert a shape. So as many of you will know, you can put any text into shapes. You don't have to insert only a text box. So I have an image, I have a text. Then I have given two options, right? So this need not be here. I just did it for fun as something like, which probably, again, when I'm trying to tell children that don't get fooled by whatever is the good thing that you see, right? So it's not that just because the road is neat, it's going to take you to a nice place, or the road is sort of teda-meda, it's going to go to a wrong place. So this is just a fun activity. Of course, I made it very short so that I could explain it in this class. The actual activity I do is quite long. So children go through a set of things. So each of them go through a set of things, and then they go to different places based on what they want to do. Okay. Then I add two text boxes here. So I'm going to say insert shape just to show you. Okay. So then I'm going to say turn right, right? That's, or turn left. Okay, whatever. Left. Okay, this is the text I've inserted. So of course you do your formatting as and when you like it, as in how you like it. You can make it bold, you can increase it, you can change the font. All those are like, given. So yeah, this is the font that I like. You can make it wider, right? All those things you do. Now, Now that you have this, what you're going to do is you are going to add a link. So, okay. Where did it come? You click on the shape and go here. You can either link to any slide in the presentation or any other slide in the entire your drive. So this is so limitless. So you at the end of it, you can say that, okay, now why don't you learn something more about deserts? Why don't you learn something more about Appalachian mountains? Or why don't you learn something more about landforms? Whatever it is. So each thing can lead to a different, completely different file. So here, this gives you an option of linking to either slides in the presentation or any slide deck or any file in your drive. So right now, I'm going to say that if when they click on turn left, it should go to slide 2. That's all. So what you have done is you have linked it. You have linked this shape to the slide. Now, if you go to the present view and I click on this, it will go to this slide. Any questions on that? Any questions on that? So let me just, no? Okay, great. So this is a link feature. So what are all the things that we used here? We used, of course, an insert. We used shapes. We inserted a shape. So let us say let's put in a completely different shape. Okay. This is the shape, right? So by default, it is linking to slide 2 because there are some links already on the slide. But that's fine. So what you can go here, I can go here and say edit link. Okay. So instead of slides in this presentation, I can even link it to this. For example, now when I present it, one click of this, it will go to my the other one that I have created, the heart one that I have created. So this gives such a branching path to your students, right? So you are in the class, you have one thing that you have done, right? Now let me go back. Yeah. So the only things, there are the features that we have used here. Sorry, we don't, what is that, what is the question? I didn't get it. We don't. I'll surely repeat. So this is something that let me do one thing. Instead of confusing you with this, I will open a new slide. Okay. So that way it will be very easy, right? So here I have one slide. Of course, you have your own set of themes and all that. You can use them if you want to. So let us say, wow, this looks good. So then I am going to add a new slide. Okay, so this is slide 2, and this is all about then I'm going to add another slide, slide 3. I'll say all about, and then of course I'm going to add a new slide, slide 4, which is all about pronouns. Now I have 3 slides, so I can go and give this a different background and all that, just to help you to see how it is different. Okay. Let this be white. Now, what we want to do is we want to give 3 links here to go to each of those 3 slides. So what I will do is, first thing I will do is I'll insert a shape. Insert shape. Okay. I'm going to give a rounded triangle. I'm going to take a shape as a rounded triangle and say this is the button. The same thing that you give on all your things. Then you have a button. On click of the button, you can go to the next slide. Now, click that, right? There is an option here saying link. Control K. Okay, click on that. So here you have a set of options. So I want to connect it to slide 2, all about nouns. So the moment I start typing here, the list of all the slides plus all the other slides which are there in your drive will come, right? So I'm going to select this and say link. Now, what I will do is I will insert another shape. And I'm going to say all about pronouns. Okay. So then I will go here and just to make it different, I'm going to make it change the color so that it's clear. So that there is a color coding between this and the other slide. All these are your, you can do whatever you want. It's not required that you should do it any particular way. It's up to you to design it the way you want. Now here I want to give it a link. I want to give a link to slide 4. If you see, slide 4 is all about pronouns. So I will go here, right click, link. Okay. So you can say slides in this presentation, slide 4, all about pronouns. So now you have given a link. Now there are 2 things you can do to give it to your students. Now, if it is something you are presenting in the class, if it is something that you are going to, project in the class, then just this simple present option is enough. Okay. So on click of all about pronouns, if you go to slide 4, of course, you'll have to give the, go back to the first slide and all those options. You have to make it tightly neat. All about nouns, it will go to slide 2. Right? This is at the simplest. So using this, you can use links to any slide or anywhere in the any URL, any slide or any URL, any kind of file, you can link it to that. But then this has a limited use because this is something that you can do only when you project in the class. Right? So, so again, you are taking the control within yourself. It's not something that you can give your children. So for that, there is an option in Google Slides called Publish, which is what I'm going to show next. So any of you have any questions on the master slide? We did 2 things today. One is the use of the master slide or the theme slide and using links. Any of you have any questions on that? Okay. Okay, then let me proceed. Now, as I was saying, the limitation or the problem of this is that this is something that only you can project. So you have a Zoom class, you have a Google Meet class, you share screen like you do, and then you present. But the children don't have a feel of clicking and moving, right? So that is what you want to give them. You want to give them something which they can explore on their own. If you want to do that, in that case, then there is another option in Google Slides which you can use called the publish option. So if you go here, there is an option which says publish on the web, file, right? Publish on the web. Okay, if you click on that, you can see that there is an option to publish, link, publish. Now, there is one issue with Google Slides. Here, there is an auto advance option. That means the slides will automatically move to the next slide in a set period of time, which is great if that is what you want to do. You have a lesson plan. Okay, before I go into that, I would like to tell you that this publish option is a beautiful option because it helps you to get a link for a Google slide, which they cannot edit, right? They cannot change anything in it. It is like, let us say you have, it's like creating a PDF and giving it to them. But the problem with creating a PDF and sharing with your students is every time you make any change into this, you have to recreate the PDF, right? But using the publish option, what you can do is you can give a link to your students that they can access the lesson at any point of time. If you make any changes to it, they will see the changes, but they can't change it. So let us say you finished a lesson today on some particular topic, as let's say parts of plants. You finished a lesson today, and you want the children to view the slide deck that you have shared multiple times because you have put in so many information that is not there in the textbook. Now you can do what you can do is you can create a PDF and give it through Google Classroom or whatever it is. Now the problem with that is that anytime you make any changes, they will have to get it new. So it becomes very difficult. Instead, if you publish it as a Google slide and give it to them, or as a Google Doc and give it to them, right? That they are going to access it through a link. And that whatever document is in that link will get updated as you update it. Let us say now you have only all about nouns, all about pronouns. You want to add to this all about adjectives, all about prepositions, and all about conjunctions. Automatically in the link they get, all these things will get added. Right? That is the advantage of publishing. So that's a very, very, very powerful tool that is there in all the Google Suite products, including slides, sheets, and docs. Okay. So now now for our purpose, if your purpose is for them to just to move from one slide to another, you can set it to auto advance. Let us say that you think that they need 30 seconds on that one slide. So after 30 seconds, it will automatically move to the next slide. It will be like a slideshow for them. But let us say that that is not what you want. You don't want them to move automatically at all. So there is a workaround for that, which is what I'm going to show. So here there are two options. I'm going to say start the slideshow as soon as the player loads. Okay. Then I'm going to say publish. Yes. So there is a link. Okay. So let us see the difference. I'm going to copy this link and put it here. As you see, there is an auto advance. It's automatically going to the next slide. You don't want that to happen. You want them to only see that first slide. You don't want them even to go to the next slide. So then what do? Let us come back to our small workaround. You insert a shape which covers the entire slide completely. Okay. Now this is on top of it, but you don't want it on top of it. You want it to go behind. Go to order, send to back. Now I don't want this to hide the background graphics, so I will say transparent. Now what I will do is I will go here and link it to the same slide. Now I'm going to go here and say skip slides. Okay. Now I will say publish. Okay, it's already published. Now, it will not auto advance. It will advance only when I. Now, if you give this link to your students, they can access this link at any point of time and they can explore it by themselves. Right? This is just like a link. For example, I'll give you this. Because this is not fully done, so I will give you this link, the heart link. One minute, let me just. I have sent a link to you on the chat. Now, this is a link to this file, but you can only view it. You cannot edit it. This is not a link to the Google Slides presentation that I have. On the other hand, it is just a published output of it. Right? So this way you can allow your children to explore. You can give this link through your Google Classroom. You can give this anywhere. And then after you've finished a lesson, you can make it like an exploration activity. You can make it like a game activity, which they can explore. Right? So that is something that we can do very easily with Google Slides. Any questions?
Teachers, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask your question, or you can just share in the chat.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me.
It's Pragati here. As you have shown that when we get the link, so we have to copy that link from there and then it has to be shared. Like that. No?
Yeah.
Publish to the web.
Correct. You have to copy the link and then share it with, just like you share any URL for any website. So it is basically it's a link which is available on the internet. You can just share it with anybody.
So we can short it, or because the link is very huge one.
So for that, what you need to do is you will have to create, for example, let us say you can either embed it in your Google Classroom, or you can, let us say you have a PDF or a lesson plan where you have a pseudo link. So you create a text and then give the link as a hidden inside the text. That you can do, or there are a lot of options available to get a short link for a long link, which is there a lot of online free options are available. But otherwise, let us say you have a website. So you can give on your school web page, or a web page you have. On that web page, you can just give a single text, parts of a heart, and embed the link into that particular text. So the children will not see this huge link. They will just click on it and they will see this.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
There's a question from. There's a question from Urvi ma'am. The link which you have shared is not allowing her to click on the numbers.
Yeah, because the numbers are an image. Here I have created 4 clickables or hotspots, which I have asked them to click on. For example, I'll show you. It is clicking on this. It's up to me, right? So here I decided to do it like this. The same thing, if I give them a clickable on the number, they will be able to click on the number. Right? So this is something that I have created based on what I want the children to do. Definitely, I agree, ma'am. It will be much more intuitive if you allow them to click on the numbers. So I can give a number here and ask them to click on it and make it clickable. In this case, I have just made these as hotspots. The numbers themselves are not clickable.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Your screen is not visible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, now you can see, right? So on my screen, in this case, in this
Yes.
particular sample that I created, I did not give a hotspot on the numbers. I did not give a link on the numbers. Instead, I gave it on these particular clickables. Right? So it's up to you. So let us say you want to give it on the numbers, you want to give 10 different options, you can do it. This is also done using links, just like this. The same thing, this adventure story also, I can publish it. I can publish it to the web. And of course, this, as I did it as a sample, there may be some issues which is not fully done. So I can just show it, I can demonstrate. So you can see all the things that we added are here. So I can say turn south, it goes here. Okay, continue. This looks good, or go back. I say go back. And I say turn north. Oh no, okay. Continue and try your luck. Beautiful lake, just what I wanted. What is there on the node not taken? So now this one, as opposed to what I did before, is a link. It is a link which they can access, which students can access. It is not something which is not a Google slide, but it is just like a HTML link which they can access, which is actually very useful. And as I was telling, this option is there in all Google Slide products, including slides and sheets and even docs. So let us say you have created a document and you can just share the link, publish the document and share the link. So whatever changes you make to it, they will be able to see it. And this link can be embedded in Google Classrooms, so that they don't have to know the entire thing behind all these things. Okay.
Great, ma'am. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation. It's a wonderful teachers have enjoyed and find it useful. Teachers, I have just shared some of the links in the chat. If you have missed out some steps, you can watch the recording of the live class. I have shared the link in the chat. You just save it and you can watch it later. Please do sign up for upcoming classes as well. We are going to conduct a class on Blackboard in the next week. Please do sign up and do share the link with your peer teachers. And if you haven't joined a Telegram channel and a Telegram group, please do join. We have shared the link to join. Please click on the link and you can just join our groups as well. And yes, if you have questions, please do ask. You can again unmute yourself and you can share in the chat.